just have fun with it. If you love what you do, then you will do well.
Welcome to the Maverick Paradox podcast, the show for business owners, organisational leaders, and the pathologically curious. I'm Judith Germain, a Maverick leadership expert exploring what it really takes to lead in a world that doesn't always make sense. If you're ready to think differently, challenge the status quo, navigate complexity, and drive real impact, you're in the right place. And today's guest is Victoria Reichel. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm good, thank you. Victoria, tell me something fun about yourself.
Oh, I love to create magical, mysterious, fun creatures.
Okay. Fun creatures, did you say?
Yes, with lots of personality.
Okay. What do you mean by that? I'm
Well,
curious.
adorable creatures. Like, I've written this book, The Enlightenment, and the characters in there are very fun, vivacious. They're magical, they're beautiful creatures. On the instance of social media, they've gotten lots of views. Like, for instance, the mermaid, I believe she has about, well, in total, probably over 500 million, probably more than that, for views for all of my characters. And they're very magical and they're very lovable.
Sounds curious. So tell us a bit about you then.
Well, I am originally from Honolulu, Hawaii, and I live in Los Angeles. I live with my husband and two children, and I create initially fairy garden statues. That's where it all started. Um, which encompasses like fairies and gnomes, mermaids, magical creatures. And that's how I got to write the book, The Enlightenment. And that's, and I'm here now.
Brilliant. That sounds very intriguing. So tell me, how do we create large audiences in social media quickly but well?
Well, I'm not an expert in social media. I just happen to have a niche that a lot of people find different on social media, because if you look on social media like TikTok or Instagram, you cannot find my kind. I haven't seen any kind of posting that I have. So my characters, I have a little skit that there's only characters on there. There's not me. There's not human beings on there. They're just there. And it's a very magical, like 30-second to a minute skit. And I think that is why a lot of people watch it and follow, because of that niche that I've actually tapped into.
Okay, so could you talk us through then how you managed to build such a large audience? Because you had about 700,000 followers in only a few months. So I know there's lots of people listening that be wondering how could they replicate that process?
Okay, well, I started in April and we're in February. I think it's now over like 1,100,000. I'm not sure. Um, but you have to be consistent. I used to post every week, but I've been posting now probably like every couple of weeks. And I really put like a magical touch to it. Like, for instance, I just got one out. I think it was last week, and it was a mermaid, and with the sound and the effects and the lighting and everything, it's really very beautiful. A lot of followers, they just say, comments. It's mostly like beautiful and this and that, but you have to be consistent and you have to have something that's eye popping and you have to communicate with them. I know that I've gotten a lot of comments on it and likes, but I make sure that I comment or like it back or just speak to them. You have to be engaged with your followers as well. A consistency, and also making sure that it's eye popping and catching and consistently giving that to your audience. I think that's a winning combination.
Okay, so you've got something unique for people to engage with, and you're posting um sort of significantly certainly in the early days, like every day. So is that really the core then, uniqueness and constant posting? Because I think lots of people do that, but they don't seem to get the numbers that you're suggesting that you got.
Also because I'm also lucky. I think that's it. Also because of the message that's behind it. It really speaks out. For instance, I've gotten a lot of views on the book that is about the environment, climate change, um, you know, the welfare of animals, stuff like that. That is really people take to heart, and I think also that is something that is one of the things that I have a lot of followers because they believe in the cause and the environmental impacts. So my posting, I have the characters, but they also have a little message at the end, to beautify our environment or animal welfare, etc. So I also think that really helped me in the beginning.
Okay, so tell me about the books you're writing.
Well, I used to write children's books, two children's books, and they were just, my first two. There is Kiana the Fairy. It's about, you know, magical fairies, etc. And then there is also Katrina the Fairy. And those two, they most of my books, they have a hidden meaning behind it. But then I got into a novel. And this one's my first novel. It's The Enlightenment. And it's about the magical creatures from the planet of Azar. And there's this portal that connects Earth to the planet of Azar. Planet of Azar exists in the utopian galaxy, and it's a beautiful planet. All the planets there are beautiful. There's seven. And so every year, or actually, I'm sorry, every like 10, 15 years, someone goes through the portal and lands in the planet of Azar, and it just happens to be an earthly. And his name is Tom, and he visits the planet of Azar, and he sees how beautiful it is and how the air quality, it's just absolutely beautiful and untouched, and the creatures there are are so nice, and it's just really different environment than the hustle and bustle where he's from in Los Angeles. And so we go through a lot of what's happening right now in the environment, which is climate change, which is uh you know uh for deforestation, etc., all that important things. But it doesn't go really heavy. It touches lightly. And so what I'm trying to do is appeal to the young crowd, the young ones. And so it's funny. It's the creatures, you will love them. In fact, they've had so many followers and so many hits and views that I'm making a YouTube cartoon after the baby dragons of Azar and the Wesleys. All these, it's just a beautiful place to be. And so we compare what's in Azar and what's on Earth. And it reminds us, just to think about, just picking up a bottle of uh plastic bottle or something to do good. But that's the main point. It really touches lightly on it, but it's very at the same time really funny and lovable.
Okay, thank you. So I guess you're appealing to youngsters. so that they feel that they can take action on some of the challenges that the world is facing right now, but you do it by placing it into a fictional place that appeals to them in terms of, mermaids and dolphins and that type of thing.
Yes, that was my initial, but it just so happens that it's not only the youngsters, but it's the adults. I have actually my followers, they are mostly other than the United States, they're all over the world. So, and you know how you can see the statistics, the age group, they're actually in between 18 and I would say 55 years old. Um, in many countries. I would say the United States takes up, I would say like 10%, but out of the 1.1 million followers, it's mostly like in the countries abroad, all the way from Australia, Korea, you can be Israel, everywhere. So it's really great that they love it. And at the same time, I'm like just teaching them a little bit about our environment.
Okay. And how did you manage to get it translated in so many different languages?
No, that was a little difficult. Once I got first five, then it just continued. It was like it was a smooth transition. So I go on this, I think it's called Fiverr. And so I work with different people in different countries. For example, I wanted to, um, do one in French. I got a translator that I know, and I did it also in Arabic. Arabic was very difficult. I think the hardest one, and I haven't done it yet, actually is Chinese, but that's going to hold. But I think the hardest one was Arabic. Um, the social medias are the translations. It was kind of difficult for Vietnam because it's really hard to find the outlets where they will sell your books or sell, the platform, because each country has its red tape, so you can only sell it on this area. That was probably my biggest challenge, to see which platforms I can actually sell the book on. But other than that, it was a smooth process. I did have a difficulty with I believe I forgot one of the languages, but everything was great. My collaborators and colleagues, they were wonderful. So yes, ten languages. That was the task.
That sounds brilliant. Um, Before we wrap up, what kind of message or encouragement would you like to leave for budding authors, especially children's authors that want to get their stories out there, perhaps in different countries, but by using social media to make it work?
Oh, I would say to be persistent. I would actually have to say, in order to go into the other countries and appeal to the mass audience, I would have to say you would have to make it very appealing, like something of a niche. Like I have. I have very cool characters, very lovable characters. And I think that's where I got the end. The I was lucky like that because the characters are what brings out, you know, my success. So I would say just be persistent and just come out with great material, and it'll all happen. Social media, I would post it once a week. And also be very in tune with your audience, and just have fun with it. If you love what you do, then you will do well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you out there for tuning into the Maverick Paradox podcast. I am Judith Germain, your host, and I hope you've enjoyed today's conversation. Are you leading or just managing? The best leaders amplify their influence, not their workload. I'm Judith Germain, a multi-award winning leadership expert, and my Amplify Your Impact and Influence mentoring helps senior leaders cut through uncertainty, strengthen their leadership identity, and lead with confidence. No off-the-shelf solutions, just tailored, strategic mentoring that works. Ready to lead with greater impact? Visit bit.ly/amplify influence impact to find out more.